Dispensationalism tends to misunderstand Ephesians 3, verses 3 through 6. Instead of seeing the mystery as the fulfillment of God's promises of including the Gentiles, they treat it as if it's some brand new, hidden side story in God's plan. They call this the dispensation of grace. Basically, this idea puts up a huge wall between Israel and the church, treating them as two totally separate groups of God's people. That's why I recently posted on my YouTube community page, "Bad theology is holding the world hostage." Just to be clear, I was talking about the current war and how so many American Christians are supporting it. Ken and I have already done 12 videos on dispensationalism, and there's more to come. If you've missed any, I'll drop a link to the full playlist in the description box. Now, before we go through Ephesians 3, let's back up a little and read earlier in Ephesians so we can get a better sense of what Paul is really saying. We'll start in chapter 2, verse 11. "Therefore remember that you, once Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by what is called the circumcision, made in the flesh by hands, that at that time you were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world." He's clearly speaking to Gentiles. "But now in Christ Jesus, you who once were far off have been brought near by the blood of Christ. For he himself is our peace, who has made both one and has broken down the middle wall of separation." Now, who's the both here? It's the circumcision and the uncircumcision, the children of Israel and the Gentiles. Now he has made both one and has broken down the middle wall of separation, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, that is, the law of commandments contained in ordinances. What ordinances? That would be the law of Moses. So as to create in himself one new man from the two, thus making peace, and that he might reconcile them both to God in one body through the cross, thereby putting to death the enmity. And he came and preached peace to you who are far off, and to those who are near. For through him we both have access by one Spirit to the Father. What we just read in Ephesians 2 is all about God creating one new family, not two separate groups. But just in case you're not convinced, let's read on into chapter 3, and let's bring Brother Ken in to explain even further.
"If indeed you have heard of the dispensation of the grace of God, which was given to me for you, how that by revelation he made known to me the mystery, as I have briefly written already, by which when you read, you may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Christ." He has not said what it is yet. Verse 5, "which in other ages was not made known to the sons of men, as it has now been revealed by the Spirit to his holy apostles and prophets." He still hasn't said it. Here's what it is: that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs of the same body and partakers of his promise in the Messiah, in Christ, through the gospel. So verse 6 is the great mystery, which it is a mystery in the sense that it hasn't been clearly stated, except for one thing. That's exactly what he told Abraham: you're going to be a blessing to all the families of the earth. And foreigners have been invited into Israel this whole time. The very simple distinction here is that to be in right standings with God, you don't have to become a Jew. You don't have to get circumcised and keep Passover. That an uncircumcised Philistine can by faith come to Christ, and that's enough. It's that one thing that you don't have to become a Jew to be saved. The Gentiles can now be in our family. This is Acts 10.
Yeah.
This is Acts 10. This is all Paul's talking about. All it means now is that the tree, the olive tree, now accepts people without going through the process of ceremonies.
I don't know if there's anything to this, but I don't know why it hit me a few weeks ago. I was reading, and like the Gentiles are still an olive tree.
Yeah,
We're
I
just a
know. Isn't that
wild
crazy?
olive tree. So
Just a wild one. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't
You're
think I
like,
ever thought about that before. I just
yeah,
thought
you're the right
Gentiles were
species.
getting put into an olive tree, but we were our wild olive tree. So what does that
Yeah.
mean? Why the olive tree, and why is there wild and not wild?
Yeah, because you're the same species. And so
Okay.
you're the same kind of thing, but you're uncultivated. You are cared for. You're without a shepherd. You're without a husbandry. And so you're wild in the sense that you're just growing out without any caretaker. And
Yeah.
now you're coming under the protection of the shepherd. But because you're the same species, you can fit right in. But now the difference is now you are cultivated under the care of the husbandry. You're in the fold now.
That makes so much sense.
That's all it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good it wasn't a olive tree and then over here you were, a strawberry bush, because then we'd be really a big trouble, you know. But yeah, that's all that's being said. And that's why I said they're missing Romans 11. If they could just get the olive tree example, none of this would work for them.
But they go to Romans 11 all the time, don't you?
Only to verse 26 in the first two words, or all Israel, those two words. That's all they go to Romans 11 for. They don't go to read the flow of, paragraphs like we teach.
If you just read this letter as it's written, Paul's point comes through loud and clear. But if you'd like a more in-depth video on this topic, just drop a comment below and let us know.